Hey, hey!
What is happening, Reality After Show fans? Tonight I'm holding it down with Alex and Dan while Jonny Fairplay is in New Jersey with Victoria and War Dog and I believe Wendell and some other surprise guests. The Survivor Homecoming. It's the night before Thanksgiving. And I tell you what, I'm feeling good. I was telling these guys before we went on, 1 week ago, we did the podcast. Everything was golden. And then I went to work on Thursday, got home. I started feeling crappy. Fever started coming on, sucked. And then, so I did a COVID test. I was positive, fever, body aches for a couple days, and then just fatigue and just feeling like utter shit. I was quarantined to a guest bedroom. I was going absolutely bananas nuts. I told Jonny, I was like, dude, I'm down. I can't do the Monday night Q&A. So my apologies for missing out on that for the patrons. But I'm back. I mean, it's the night before Thanksgiving. I'm happy to be here. Happy to watch Survivor. Alex, you were supposed to originally be with Jonny tonight. But it's a crazy night the night before Thanksgiving. So I'm glad you're here. And Dan, I'm glad you're here as well.
Appreciate it.
Because you had some like personal crazy stuff going on. And it seems like there's so many gnarly things happening in all of our lives. And then we just have to get through it and move on. And that's what's cool about this community. Not only just like the Survivor community, but just the reality TV fandom, people that I meet at events, a lot of the people that probably came to Jonny's event tonight. It's just it's a cool group of people. I've met a lot of great friends over the years because of the crazy show Survivor that I got to be on, and just keeps on giving. And I know, Dan, you're going to be going to another one of Jonny's, I think the one more live show this year, if you can tell our listeners where that's going to be.
Yeah, next week. So I believe it's November 30th. We are going to be in the town that I live in, Charlotte, North Carolina. We're going to be at Lenny Boy Brewing with Jonny, of course. There will be the Queen, Sandra Diaz-Twine, as well as, I believe right now we're at 3 or 4 surprise guests. Can't say who they are, but trust me, you're not going to want to miss it.
Man, well, all I learned is that Dan's just doxing himself for everyone who listens to this podcast. What a joker.
This season has gone by so fast to me.
Already episode 10.
I just don't understand. I don't know if it's because we podcast about it every week or like would it seem longer if I don't know. It's very bizarre because I'm like, I blink and I'm like, oh my God, there's like 8 people left. Like, this is nuts. And the other crazy thing is I played a 39-day game. I made it to day 16 before I got voted out. It's night 17 right now, and there's already multiple members of the jury. So I want to ask, are you guys, this is the 3rd season that we've had this 26-day game. Do you like or dislike it, or are you indifferent?
Well, I'll start off by saying, it doesn't matter if I like it or dislike it. You sort of, at the moment, I'm choosing to embrace it because it's what we have. It's the current way that they're going to show us Survivor. It has its flaws, for sure. But I think what really elevates these seasons for me is I think they do a good job casting. Mm-hmm. And an episode like tonight, where we actually truly got to hear everyone's thoughts on the game. We heard almost every single person's perspective on the plan that was going to happen tonight or what they wanted to happen tonight. We got reasons, we got motivations, and that's what I love about Survivor. So episodes like tonight, I'm all for.
I agree. I I feel sometimes, because I love that too. I love the camp strategy game play conversations and all the stories, and you're trying to figure out what's really going on. And sometimes though, I feel this game is edited so quickly now. It's like tonight's episode is like we start off right after the last tribal, we go into a reward challenge, and then it's like bam right into the immunity challenge, and then a little bit of stuff, and then tribal. It's like these episodes, they're fitting a lot in to whatever 44 minutes or whatever the hell we're seeing. But as we saw last week, 2 people out. So back at camp, James, he was out of the game. Carla was kind of bummed that she was left out of kind of some key information. She's not happy about it.
Yeah, so like Dan, I want to hear from you. So with Carla, it's interesting. I love Carla. I think she's been great for the show, great for Survivor, great representative. Is great online with people. And like in the beginning of the game, like she was the power player. But this is like about the 3rd season now where we've seen the power player in like the first half of the game. You get into this part of the jury phase, and it almost seems like in a blink of an eye, everything starts to crumble around them. They no longer are the dictator of the events. They're more of like, I have to go with whatever keeps me safe now.
Yeah, no, this is the 3rd season in a row. I think we're seeing Carla play it a little bit better than maybe we have some of the, the past few seasons. But I think that that's hard for a lot of these people of, okay, in the beginning, they're so used to getting their way. They know everything. And it's how do you react when you're not the one calling the shots, which is kind of interesting that I'd like to see moving forward, not just how Carla plays it, but also someone like Jesse and Cody, where they've been in so much control. They've swayed the votes whichever way they've wanted. And I think to really see how great of a Survivor player, those 3 in particular are, is what happens when you don't get your way and how do you move forward with it. Now, I think we saw Carla make a great first step tonight that she got back. She may not have gotten her way last time, but she was able to mix her way back in the fold. And I think it's just all about now, especially with how quickly this game is. Okay, it didn't go your way. How can you adapt to try to at least get back on the same page and possibly get some power back as well?
So do you still find Carla to be a front runner as far as making it, to the end of the game?
I think she's on the island, she's perceived as a front runner. So like I don't know if she gets to that spot unless some like hijinks happens. Like Gobbler needs to start going. Like first thing next episode is Gobbler and Confessional going. I got the plan to get us to final 3, Owen. We're taking the shot at the duo. We're taking the shot at Cody and Jesse. And like you get all that infighting amongst the men. That suddenly you're at Final 4 and Cassie and Carla are still there, and like one of them gets there, or both of them somehow manage to get there to the end, then I think Carla or Cassie have a very good chance at winning, because I think they'll be well liked by that jury overall.
Yeah, I think it's going to come down to eventually Jesse and Carla are going to have to go after each other, and whoever comes out of that, I think, is probably your front runner as far as what we've seen edit wise. Now, also going over the past 2 seasons, they're not afraid anymore to not give their winner the best edit. So who knows?
I know, because right now it's like Jesse proves that he is not playing around. He's not letting his emotions get to him. We saw it tonight, and it's just like, I think the guy has a very good chance. If he makes it deep, I think Jesse's winning this thing. But
he's the Ricard spot. Like I've been saying it since preseason. Jesse is Ricard.
Yeah.
Like he's that person that like as fans we're like, oh, he's the closest thing to a villain that we're gonna get on a season. And like it's not like he's a ruthless, like evil, like we hate him villain. It's like, no, he's playing a villain game. Like you just brought me on reward. You gave me a love letter from my family. Yeah. I'm sending you out. And like that. No, like because he's putting his family first. Like, you get the motivation behind why he's doing it, and you get it. I feel like he's someone who and they know if he touches the end, you might as well not even try, because I think he can find a way to make a personal connection with each person on the jury.
And we see that Gobbler's like wanting to. I mean, it's obvious that Cody and Jesse are running the show, and that they're super tight, like a Dominic and Wendell type domination. So it's funny because Gobbler, although I don't think he's like the smartest guy out there, I do think he's laying low and in a pretty good position because his name's not really being brought up as far as like voting him out. And he's like making observations like, yeah, I think maybe we should try to break up this duo. The problem is I don't think Jesse is stupid enough to leave the game with 2 idols in his pocket. If Jesse feels threatened, I think he'll at least maybe try to play one. Mm-hmm. But I don't know. I could be totally wrong.
I would like to believe that they're savvy enough between him and Cody to know when the pressure is being pointed towards them that they would use their idols. But like we've seen it now in this new era, like just because you have an idol doesn't mean it's going to save you at the end of the day. Like you see like Carla holding still, like trusting that this plan's going to work, doesn't use the idol. In a game like today where like you hear Owen say it during the reward challenge, like it's a sprint. Like this is like going from 39 days to 26 days for the game is you're constantly going. You do not get that off period. Like you don't get that day off where you're just sitting there at camp doing nothing. Like you're constantly just moving and you're shifting and you have to keep thinking of another plan. Oh, now there's a shot in the dark. We had to blindside people so they don't use that. They can't use their idol, so we have to blindside them for that. It's like your brain's constantly going. You don't get that break.
But right now, technically, Jesse's still in possession of 2 idols. I mean,
he claims that he gave Cody his idol back.
I think that was more of talking about his cover story. Now, who knows? Maybe he did. But if he didn't, could he, go more under a little bit of that villainous tone, take Cody out, then bam, he has 2 idols. He can ride his way all the way to the Final 4.
Or it may be out of his hands where he gets blindsided and Cody leaves, but he still has those 2 idols.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, absolutely.
So Ryan is out also, going back to the beginning, the other person that got voted out. I'm totally fine with Ryan going out. I have not watched any of his post-game interviews or Ponderosa videos because I know there was like stuff online like why he loved fishing so much or this or that. He just didn't seem like he was that bummed out to leave. And even I did see a little clip, I think, on Instagram where he's just like all smiles. He's like, hey, I'm totally cool with this of being voted out. So I like his positive attitude. I really do, because that's how I kind of looked at it. Like, what are you going to do? It's a game. You get voted out. It sucks, but whatever. But he just he was kind of it did not bother me. I'm glad that he went out. So as we said, Jesse is in a good spot with 2 idols, and we got Jesse, Cody, and Gobbler is kind of in the middle of whatever he wants to do, really. So honestly, like I said, he's in a good spot.
Right, he's in a good spot, but he's in a good spot because he doesn't have a threat level.
Mm-hmm.
Like I don't think there's much that he personally can do where he gets to the end and gets the votes. Like I think whatever move happens, even if it's him really dictating it or spearheading it, and they take out a big guy next week, I think the credit ends up going to someone else. Like I just think that's his
Owen?
perception.
Does he beat Owen or does Owen beat him?
No, Owen beats Gabler.
So no one beats Gabler at all. I mean, I'm sorry, Gabler does not. I mean, Gabler does not beat anyone in a.
I just don't see it. And then again, anything can happen in Survivor.
I would not want to see it. I don't think. I totally agree. I think he has in a good spot to like make it to the finals and be someone that gets 0 votes.
Right, like I feel like him, and now we're starting to see what I've been saying all along about Sammy. I don't think they're playing a game where you get to the end and the people that are on that jury will respect the games that they played enough to get their vote.
Mm-hmm. And Sammy, speaking of Sammy, I don't trust that guy at all. No one seems to. We've seen a lot of young players play Survivor. How do you rank him as far as one of the younger people that you?
Well, I would say he's probably the best under 20 player that we've had. Dan, I could be wrong. I can't think through it because the only other one could potentially be Will Wall, but I think he's better than Will Wall as just an active player.
Was Xander Hastings under 20?
I think he was 20. He was 20 or 21.
But let's say he was 20. I didn't think Xander played a good game, so Xander was someone who also was in a Gabler spot. He never had any type of dictation over the vote. He was just a vote.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't see Sammy as just a vote. He's a vote, but he's also been flip-flopping and trying to create a path for himself. He's actively approaching the game instead of passively approaching the game.
Yeah, which is, I think he's playing a much better game than, was it JD, the dreadlock dude?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, and then,
there was the girl in David versus Goliath. Wasn't Julia? Wait, was Julia under 20 when she played
on my season?
Wrong? Oh no, Julia's Sikowski. I got the last name wrong. I know, but she was Michelle's duo in Co Wrong.
She was right around there. I think she was 20 or 21. I could be wrong though. But no, I think he's Sammy. Yes, he's playing the game well, but he just doesn't have. When it's already out there that nobody trusts you, that's just hard to win a game that way. Because at the end you can give him some props for doing that, but if no one's going to trust you, then why are they going to give you $1 million?
So my thing is, I agree with all those points, but I think the reason why they have given him more so a positive edit is I think Jeff Probst loves the guy. Sammy is the poster child for when he says I want teenagers in the game. See it if you're 16 years old, sign up. We'll bring you in when you're 18 or 19, but sign up now. I think Sammy is a great example for him to be this is the bar. This is proving to you guys that young players can come in and manage the game.
Right. Well, we go to day 18, which is a reward challenge, which is a sweet reward because you get to go to the Survivor Sanctuary. You get a good night's sleep, pizza, cheesecake, brownies, beer, wine. And you also get, we find out, letters from home. This challenge, pretty simple. Spin around in a metal frame that pulls this rope with a buoy. Once it pulls it to a certain point, you can go over this rope or a net type deal. And it's funny because everyone's dizzy and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Then there's a balance beam and then cornhole toss of a beanbag up on top of a little pole. I like this challenge. It's anytime that people are dizzy trying to do stuff is funny. And no one tried to undizzy theirself this time.
Yeah. And I liked the mechanic for the spinning.
Yeah.
I don't think we've seen that on Survivor. I like that it was a approach where it wasn't just just spin a circle. It was you have to create a momentum and a rhythm in order to consistently get it to move and move fast and consistent. Obviously,
right.
You'll then end up running 10 steps to your left before you can do anything after. But I liked the mechanic of that. And this was the first time where I felt the motivational story at the end of the challenge was warranted.
Oh, yeah.
Because the story wasn't she failed.
No.
Help her up. Which was what the preview made it look like. The
See,
story was she conquered it.
I have a question. So obviously, the challenge goes on. It comes to the balance beam. Everyone gets through. It's funny seeing people being all dizzy and stuff. And then everyone's literally at the last part of the challenge tossing the bag up. And Noelle is still trying to cross the balance beam, which looks really difficult with her prosthetic leg.
Mm.
If would someone have been able to like walk over and grab her hands and literally help her across and assist? Are you allowed to do that in a challenge like this? Like, could Cody and Jesse walked over and be like, "Come on, we'll help you hold our hands to get across"? Would that be legal?
I just don't think we've ever seen it. I think
I know.
I think we've only seen like you can like encourage someone with your words or coach someone with your words, but I
Yeah.
don't think you can physically
Assist
help
them.
someone.
Yeah, because I thought, man, is that going to happen? Because I'm like, there is no way that she's going to get through this balance beam.
Right. Like I was like, oh my God, are we going to get like the Suri and Game Changers moment where like after the challenge is done, we spend another 2 minutes with like, we're going to help you get through the balance beam and conquer this. No, she does it herself. She's literally losing her leg as she wins the challenge. I just like, I became such a big fan of Noelle as the season kept going more, as the season kept going on. Like I was already liked her when the game started, but I love her attitude, her spirit, like her tenacity for the game. Like she came to play and it wasn't just a strategic game. She wanted to show that she could be a physical player as well.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, I was so happy, honestly, when she finally got across that balance beam and then she won it. I mean, we get a little bit of overkill on the feel good kind of moments, especially with Noelle this season, but I feel that this was done very well. I was excited about it. I was watching the show upstairs. My wife was downstairs and, because she was doing something and I must have screamed like, yeah. She's like, what the hell are you doing up there? I was like, oh, Noelle just freaking won this challenge. It was badass. So like, it was, even though she's out this game, I feel that this episode kind of was, if this is my last episode, my boot episode, I would be very thrilled with how I went out. You know what I mean?
It's such a good edit for her. Like,
oh yeah.
Like, sure, she gets blindsided, but like the whole episode is her trying to devise a plan, her winning a reward, her choosing who I felt was like the smart people to bring along. You bring a Jesse, you bring in, and you bring the people that you just established trust in with a vote, and you try to solidify it. Try to create more dynamics, create a path forward. And does it go well? No, but like she attempted and she was actively playing the game, and that's like ultimately what we want to see in people are active players who have passion.
It is. And the thing, my computer's making noise. So the thing is, I will say something. I think it's really cool that like a lot of times someone with a prosthetic leg would be like, oh, we got to get this person out. They're the reason they need to go is because they suck at challenges. They're bringing us down, or you know what I mean? Like they're a target because they're just not going to be able to pull their weight in a challenge. That's never been really an issue. It's like she gets voted out because she's a strategic threat and a strategic player. And I think that that's really cool that that's really how she went out versus like you have one leg, you're weak, get the hell out of here. You know what I mean?
Right, because like she proved that she was strong despite the leg. And when we see when they're at camp, like when Cassie and Carla are talking about like how she's a threat at the end and like her story, the story is she keeps losing her number one and then she gains a new number one and becomes more powerful, more like encouraged into the game, more passionate, more risk taking. And then she loses another number one. And then she gains another one again, and she's back on her feet, and she's going to keep fighting. And we're like, that's a story we can't beat. It had nothing to do with the fact, like, oh, she has one leg.
Yeah. And quite frankly, I think that Noelle could beat Jonny Fairplay 9 out of 10 challenges with one, with one normal leg versus John. You know what I mean?
Yeah, Dan, what do you think?
I think that's pretty fair.
There you go. So after the challenge, when Noelle wins, we know that they're going to get letters from home, and Noelle gets to choose a couple people. So she chooses Sammy, Jesse, and Owen to go to the sanctuary. We then see everyone at the sanctuary. They're feasting on food, and then Owen's the first one to kind of get emotional, like he gets, he's like, wow, I'm looking at these letters. I see their handwriting from my mom and, my girlfriend and on all these people. And it is true. It's like when you're out there, even though you're out there for, what are they, 17 days in or whatever, you are missing home and you're missing part of your normal life. And I can imagine how those letters would give you a boost for this second half of this game. Or not.
And it's more amplified because once again, like the speed of the game, I think it creates more weight.
Mm-hmm.
It's like we're only on like day 18 at this point.
Mm-hmm.
But the way that these people have been moving in the game on a strategic level and how much their brain has to keep going and keep functioning and keep like maneuvering through these obstacles, it probably feels like they're on day 28.
Oh yeah, I
know.
So
like you have all this fatigue, and then once you get that little brevity of real life, as Jeff would go, of love.
But so Owen, he gets emotional. I love it. And then Jesse gets, his letters, and gets his little letter from his kids. And he's talking about how he's known his wife since elementary school, which is totally crazy because, I know some people from elementary school, but I can't imagine going to elementary school with someone that I eventually marry. That's very odd. And I'm not in a bad way. I'm just saying odds of that are crazy.
No, it's rare. It's rare.
It is rare. And, Jesse, which I don't really see him being some gang dude. Do you? He seems just like such a normal.
He's reformed. But when he starts creating his action plan, I think you start to see it a little bit.
we do. That is true.
But I love that his son also wrote in the letter, and he says to everyone "Oh, go get that money, baby."
I know. Oh, it's awesome.
He has this way of he can say these things that could come off like a little dorky or you wouldn't want to hear someone be like, well, I want to get the money. Why is it okay for you to get the money? But he says it in a way where you can just laugh it off. Everyone's having a good time around him. So it shows he's playing a great social game as well, which is keeping him and Cody in this power position for now.
Yeah, and Sammy, we see him. I mean, was there any other thing you wanted to touch on the reward letters?
No, it's really just that's when that's where we get Noelle's plan.
Yes.
She talks about specifically why she wants Sammy with them was he's been flipping through this whole game. I'm hoping that by me creating an action plan, bringing him on, making him feel like he can actually work with me, he won't flip anymore, and we can take out one of Cassidy or Carla. And she sort of lets Sammy take the lead. Sammy's like, I don't want to flip anymore. I want to take out Cassidy. She's a threat. Again, this is me just thinking he wants to take out every single person who's perceived as Carla's number one because he wants to be her number one. And yet he votes for her to go. He tries to vote out Carla in this episode. So who knows with Sammy at this point? Boy.
So do you think, because I know Noelle's saying that she's terrified the other girls are at the other camp, strategizing to get her out.
Right.
Do you think it was a flaw for Noelle not to bring different people to this reward? You know what I mean? Could she have brought Carla and Cassidy there to specifically try to devise a plan to save herself from potentially getting voted out? Or do you think it was a done deal based off Noelle's threat level that people just want her gone?
I think she potentially could have. I think her mistake was bringing Jesse because, you see that they're really tight, but why wouldn't you think that Jesse would make a move? Because every time, talked about it earlier, that they keep taking out her number ones.
Yeah.
It was Jesse and Cody that were always on board with, and were the ones that were doing that. So I think if anything, it was just maybe over trusting Jesse so much on Noelle's side.
I would say, I think instead of bringing Owen, because I think you're locked in. Owen's locked in with you.
Mm-hmm.
I get she brings him because one, he's an ally, and two, he hasn't. I guess he's eaten the least of all of them.
Yeah.
At this point in the game, but I would instead of bringing Owen, bring in Gabler, bring in both people that you feel are the flippers, and secure them. I think if she brought Gabler to reward, and then Jesse still tries to go to Gabler and be like, we should take out Noelle, I don't think he does it. I think the way Gabler plays the game, he would react very negatively to that.
So it was a bad strategic move on Noelle's part.
Yeah, but like I can't blame her too much on that, because I think at that point I was just happy that she wasn't like hemming and hawing about it. She was just like, I'm picking you. Oh, I have to pick another one. I'm gonna pick you for this reason. I'm gonna pick you for this reason. Like, she was very straightforward about it. She didn't like, I don't know. This is so hard, Jeff. She's like, no, I'm gonna bring Owen. He hasn't eaten.
Well, we go back to the other camp where Cody, Cassidy, Gobbler, and Carla are hanging out. Cassidy, Cody, kind of talking about Noelle, getting her out a bit. Noelle's kind of up on the priority list. And then Cassidy, Carla, and Gabler are kind of at the water well, and they're kind of asking him, like, well, who do you think? Gobbler? And they kind of mention their plan, and he just kind of he's always mulls stuff over. Like, I'm in a good spot. Let me think about it. Like, and so I do, even though I think he has zero chance of winning, I think he is at least trying to think about the game.
Yeah.
And what's kind of best for, and we even see that, and I think it's like in the previews for next time, it's like, or whatever, hey, we need to split up these power couples. So he's at least aware. You know what I mean?
I think with Gabler, so it's 2 points that both you made. A, of Noelle bringing him, and it's how he does mull things over. I almost think that he's like the opposite of Mike Turner from last season, where Mike, it was you wanted to be the last one to talk to him, to pitch a plan, and he would kind of get on board. I think with Gabler, because he does so much thinking, you almost want to be the first person to get in his head, because he thinks about it through. And I think once his mind's set up, it's hard for him to make that last second switch.
Yeah. I agree. And I do want to say, like, Gabler is like, we make jokes, but I think
I'm down with you, dude.
Yeah, I think Gabler is someone who I think understands his position. I think he still believes like there is a path where if I can do all these things right, I can potentially get votes, and maybe that's enough to win. I think he's someone who just understands his position in the game. Right. And you have to be okay. And we all are fans of the game. He's a fan of the game. You know that not all 18 people who play the game are going to be in a power position the entire way for the game.
Right.
Like, there's going to be times where you need to figure out who you are as a player and what's your effective tool to get you further, because that at least gets you that last part. You get to the end, and then you get to state your case. I think he's playing a good outlasting game to keep surviving, keep not having to focus on him for being a potential flight risk or just like annoying at camp or whatever. He's found his way of being like the vote. Like, oh, if we want a vote done, we need to secure Gabler to ensure our plan works.
Right on. Well, before we go into day 19 and the immunity challenge, great Christmas present would be to get a pube trimmer for your loved one, because no one likes Santa's beard below the waist, or maybe you do. Anyways, let's take a word from Manscaped. We'll be right back.
Support for Reality After Show is brought to you by Manscaped, who is the best in men's below-the-waist grooming. Their products are precision-engineered tools for your family jewels. Manscaped's Performance Package, the ultimate men's hygiene bundle. Join over 6 million men worldwide who trust Manscaped with this exclusive offer for you. That's right, 20% off and free worldwide shipping with the code SURVIVOR at manscaped.com. If my math's correct, that's about 12 million balls.
The Performance Package 4.0 has arrived, and oh man, is it a game changer. Inside this package, you'll find their Lawnmower 4.0 trimmer, Weed Whacker, ear and nose hair trimmer, Crop Preserver ball deodorant, Crop Reviver toner, Performance boxer briefs, and a travel bag to hold your goodies.
First off, the Lawnmower 4.0, this trimmer is the future of grooming, and dare I say, the greatest ball trimmer ever.
Their 4th generation trimmer features a cutting-edge ceramic blade to help reduce grooming accidents thanks to their advanced skin-safe technology. The Lawnmower 4.0 is waterproof and has a 4000K LED spotlight that you need for a more precise shave.
Now, I have a dark shower curtain in my bathroom, and I've been looking for the perfect way to shave in the dark, kinda. Guess what? I found it! 4000K LED! No longer a problem. I got perfectly smooth, clean balls thanks to the Lawnmower 4.0.
It's time to take care of yourself, so go to manscaped.com and get 20% off and free shipping with the code SURVIVOR. That's 20% off and free shipping at manscaped.com and use the code SURVIVOR. Unlock your confidence and always use the right tools for the job with Manscaped. Thanks for sticking with us through the ad break. And don't forget, for more exclusive Reality After Show coverage, visit realitypatron.com. That's reality, Patron.com.
We are back, day 19, immunity challenge. This challenge, you have to basically, you have one hand that's kind of, I guess it's like holding a rope that's balancing this like teeter-totter thing. And then with your other hand, you have to reach across, pick up these like ceramic looking cards. And it's like you're just stacking up a tower to a certain height. Real simple, but I tell you what, I don't know about you guys, but the way they edited all these things falling over and over and over again, I do think there's a huge learning curve. I think that I would have been going absolutely nuts and frustrated as hell on this challenge, almost to the point of like throwing in the towel, which I wouldn't, but I'm just saying, God, look, just the way they kind of portrayed the challenge. It's very frustrating, but I like it. You know, we've seen this kind of challenge before where you're like stacking like a domino kind of thing or whatnot. So I think this is pretty cool. But everyone is dropping. I mean, we see people getting a decent stack and then bam. So I definitely think, I mean, it's like 15 minutes in and you might see like, oh, Cassidy's killing it. She's going to, oh my God. And then bam, she drops. Would you guys do well at this kind of challenge or nah?
I would be terrible at this challenge. I have the Malcolm hands. Nothing's ever steady. I wouldn't be able to place the cards. It just wouldn't work out. Yeah. But one of the things that surprised me looking at it is, you know, everyone has talked about how big fans they are of the show. And so this isn't the first, second, or third time we've ever seen this challenge. Mm-hmm. And how many of them started off with, you know, these crappy bases that it's just like, you know, that's not going to get you as high as it's going to be, even if you're stacking them perfect.
Yeah, and this is pretty tall stack.
Yeah.
Like, you know, I'm like, wow, like the way they're having to do it, I'm like, yeah. So like without a solid base, and they all had the same amount of cards, correct? Like if they if they had this, if they tried to make like the ultimate base, they could have been like, crap, I ran out. Like, so it wasn't like they had never ending
Correct. Yeah, it was a fixed amount. And so, I mean, you've seen it in the past that if you can build a solid base and then you start getting, you know, thinner with it as it keeps going up. But so many of them just trying to stack 2 at the very bottom and keep going the whole way up. It's
especially when it's wobbly. Falling. You know what I mean? It's like you would have to just, make the I think the most important thing would be to make the biggest bottom section or the first couple tiers to have it solid, because if any little bit of movement, if it's just like a couple little cards at the bottom, you see it. I mean, they edit it. It's like bam, 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 bam. This challenge is wide open. 28 minutes in, Cassidy had a small lead. Carla was kind of on her tail. But at the end of the day, Cassidy wins. It's like a dream come true for her, I feel. And it just proves that, especially in this new era of Survivor, anyone can win these challenges.
And I think that's what I'm really enjoying about this season. We're now getting into the final 7 where no one has won immunity more than once.
Yeah.
I think this helps. This actually may help in the future, like the big, strong, athletic people, because the games are more parity now. And I feel like less and less now people focus on, oh, well, this person's winning immunities, they're a threat.
Mhm.
Like we're past that point in Survivor where
Right.
I know in 42 the casual fans are like, well, Jonathan's gonna win at the end. Look at him, he's beasting the challenges. Like no one cares.
Mhm.
If you're a
And I
player,
also-
like cool, it gets you safety, but like you're more concerned about controlling the vote.
Mhm.
And I also think that we've had enough examples that just because you win your way to the end, you never actually end up winning the game just based off of that alone.
Yeah, Colby, Cole Pepper,
Joey Amazing, Malcolm
Joey
Freeberg.
Mason never even gets to the end. Amanda,
Has to learn how to vote correctly first.
yeah, there's so many people who win immunity so many times,
Yeah.
but
I
don't
mean,
win
Ozzy
it.
was probably
Chrissy.
the closest.
Mhm.
Yeah, there's so many, but they don't win, and that's because I don't think ultimately Survivor players and Survivor fans truly value your physical game as it's not weight the same as your strategic and social play.
Mhm. And we've seen, I mean, look at the past two winners.
Erica and Marianne.
Yeah. Like the most non-physical kind of player that you could even,
And
It's kinda
I'm pretty sure they
shocking.
both won immunity.
yeah.
Yeah. So
It's-
really, I like it because it truly shows that like anyone can win. And if anyone can win, you don't truly need to worry about people being physical threats.
Mhm.
Unless they're also a social and strategic threat.
Yeah.
Then you can worry about it.
And I know that I'm surprised they don't cast more people that are like there's got to be like, 'cause we saw like Gravedigger James and
Mhm.
Jonathan from last season, like these massive dudes.
Beefcakes.
Huh?
Beefcakes.
Yeah. Well, speaking of beefcakes, I was watching this. I was stuck in my guest bedroom for like a week, and I didn't want to infect my family with COVID, so as I watched I watched a TV series, Netflix thing called 1899 about some goat, like a ship. I watched some guy that tried to win like a jet from Pepsi. Pepsi did these points where he could win prizes. There's a Netflix thing that's pretty funny. Devil in Ohio. I watched that, but the beefcake thing is the band Guar from Virginia. They had a guy, Beefcake the Mighty was one of the guys in the band, and I watched the documentary on that band last night. It was pretty freaking awesome. But anyway, that's my beefcake reference. Yeah, I'm back to what I was saying. Like, who is a player that is a badass like Jonathan, a big strong guy, but also super social and then like insanely strategic? Who have we seen like that in American Survivor lately? Because in Australian Survivor, we've seen there's a lot of big physical players that are also, you got kind of like the Golden God's a great physical player. He's smart. He's got a great social game, but he's strategic as hell. Do we have that in American Survivor? Do they cast big, athletic, crazy, male or female, that's also really smart gamers?
No, they cast Cole Metters.
That's true. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah, but like I don't think that's what their like concern is. In the US at least. Like I think their concern now more so than ever is we want to bring in people that don't look like Mactors.
Mhm.
We want people that look like anyone that's watching the screen be like, hey, that's me.
Mhm.
I
Right.
also think that part of it is the ones that are really smart, they don't want to go on that immunity run because they do have a good social standing. Like, I mean, if you think of Jeremy Collins, I mean, if you just look at him, like he looks the part, but he
Yeah.
purposely didn't want to win those immunities to create that target on his back.
Yeah.
Yeah, and you also are like, if you think you're going to be a good player, like you're also not coming onto the beach with 3% body fat.
Mm-hmm. Right. So it's after the challenge now, after Cassidy had won. Noelle can't trust Sammy. I don't think anyone can really trust Sammy. It could be because he's young and he's trying to play the game, but he's just kind of too wishy-washy. I would not want to be out there playing with Sammy. I'd be like, I cannot trust you, dude. Like, you're going to like blow up my game if I tell you the wrong thing. You know?
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely.
So Jesse and Cody, they're kind of broing down, talking. Jesse's like, look, I feel bad to vote out Noelle because Noelle gave me that awesome reward, but she's also a threat. And honestly, like I can't let like my emotions of meeting somebody for 18, 19 days dictate what I'm going to do. Because at the end of the day, you know, especially after seeing my family's letters and my son's letter to me, family trumps all. And that is the true motivation. And that's where we see Jesse being cutthroat to where I think he'll even vote out Cody whenever the time is right with no questions asked.
Yeah, this is giving I voted out my mom energy.
Oh,
But like I like it. Like I love that we're seeing the motivation. It's not just like, oh, Jesse got this reward. Oh, now I can take her out. It's like, no, it's because of this specific reward where I get to get back in touch with my family. I get to ground myself again. My reason for being here is to win money for my family.
yeah. Right.
In order for me to get there, I think now my best move is to take out someone that I think has a terrific story, has been a great player in this game, who I respect as a player, but I can't go to the end with her.
So this brings me to what I want to ask you guys what you think of this, because we've never really seen this. We see like Jesse kind of talking through how his plan is going to go down to blindside Noelle. And it's like, number one, have a cover story or whatever. Maybe you can narrate this a little better.
Mm-hmm.
And they show that on the screen. It's like it's almost like a cheesy action, or
Yes.
We see this, one part where Gobbler is there. Do you like this?
I enjoyed it. I enjoyed it for what it was because it helped. I think it was a way to show a casual viewer how plans need to be made in the game.
Mm-hmm.
And I think Jesse was able to narrate it in a way that helped them show the viewers, like, this is what's happening tonight, but here's how it all happened. So you have the cover story. You ensure that you keep Noelle cool-headed. You know that she's on edge. So any conversation you have, you tell her a story of what you were talking to that person about to keep her happy, keep her content.
Mm-hmm.
You then go to part 2, which is throw someone under the bus, have a conversation with Sammy, see where Sammy's head's at, and then pretty much just throw him under the bus, be like, oh, well, we can split on him. There we go. Then you tell Carla about it. And so now Carla's aware. And now you're creating that other plan of the backup plan to ensure that you have the vote. So Carla's not on edge. And that's going to Gabler. And he gives his plan to Gabler. And he's like, once again, this is him trying to be like, I want to approach this where they feel like they're the one making the active move here. Like he did it with Cody. He's like, I want Cody to have agency. I feel like this was his way of trying to help Gabler have agency in his head. And I think it worked.
Right.
But Gabler then was also like, okay, like I'm going to go through with this plan, but this is an issue. Like they should have came to me earlier. I don't know why this plan is being brought to me with what feels like in the final minutes before we're leaving. Do they not trust me? Do they have too much power now? Let me talk to Carla, because you know what? If there's ever an issue, you go and talk to Carla and you expose everything that's happening.
Yeah. I mean, I do get what you're saying. I think this is a one and done kind of little thing that they did.
Yeah.
It was experimental. I wasn't expecting. I was like, wow, I've kind of never seen this. I mean, kind of laid out this way, like they did this. So I'm down for it. But yeah, I mean, this is where Gabler tells Carla, "Hey, Jesse and Cody, those two calling the shots, thick as thieves. We're gonna have to break them up at some point." And Carla's no dummy, so I feel that. I don't know. The domination of Jesse and Cody, I don't think can last forever.
I could see it getting hit as soon as next week. Like, I think that's what, like, we're getting set up for. Like, I think to your point that you made earlier, Dan, I think Carla's done a good job of, like, does she have an active role in this round? No. But I think she's playing it correctly, where you're going into Final 7, Final 6, where I think people are looking at her, but I think now people are starting to see other juicier targets.
Mm-hmm.
And it's all about that. How high is your threat level? Okay, I took out James. That brings it down a little more. Oh, they're now focusing at Jesse and Cody. Goes down a little further. You get to hide a little bit in order to peak at the end.
Right.
Yeah, because I guess there's other ways that it's been brought up, but if you're out there and you're trying to gather the minority, we've never really seen it talked about as who here has never voted incorrectly. They're probably the ones that are in the most control. That's who we should be going after.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, I dig this. This whole the plan and the Noelle, them wanting to get her out. Like I'm totally this episode. I think they fit a lot of stuff in one episode, but I think it was a good episode. Like going into Tribal Council here, Jeff brings up Noelle's big reward win, kind of going back to that feel good moment where Noelle's kind of like, maybe I can inspire others that might have a disability to apply for Survivor. It was one of the greatest moments probably of her life to kind of come back from the, behind and win the challenge. I think she's going to go back, if she's with friends and family tonight watching this episode, yes, it's going to be bittersweet and sad that she's gone. But at the same time, it's like, but look at how bad. I mean, I'm not going to forget Noelle personally.
No.
She's going to be a memorable Survivor character 10 years from now. Hopefully I won't be podcasting with Fairplay. I'll fucking go out of my damn mind. Hopefully I've moved on by that time. But if I am still podcasting with them, it'll be like, remember Noelle? Remember that time on the balance beam? It's memorable moment. So
yeah, I definitely see. I see a good portion of this like post-merge cast of 43 being on that list that they'll create for when they do their first like returnee season of the new era.
Mm-hmm.
Like I how do you not? She has a good story. She has a redemption now where she got cut at the knees.
Mm-hmm.
Too early, and now she can see if she can get a leg back into the game.
Look at that. You are slick there, using the word legs and chopped off at the knees. I love it. This is,
and I know that she will appreciate it.
Dude, Probst was like saying a lot of, I can't think, he said a few things tonight during the challenges that were funny kind of stuff. Jesse, he talks about the reward and getting the letters and, again, like kind of appreciating Noelle's good gesture one last time before he slits her throat. Gabler starts talking about, I don't know, some analogy with like heart surgery and how it applies to the game or something. Is that what he was doing?
Yeah, he was giving terminologies that went over my head. But that's okay. It's meant to go over my head.
Yeah. And then he starts talking about like it's like it's like an assassin. Some people are using silencers, and I don't know. He's definitely this year. I mean, with the one challenge a few episodes back, where he's like, this one goes out to my dudes in the hospital, and this goes out to my mom and my dog. He's kind of been the king of these little, I don't know, interesting.
Yes.
Confessionals and things that he says. Interesting guy. And then Cody's like, look,
that he's better with the analogies than he really is, because they do keep going back to him and they never hit.
But they sort of do in an ironic way.
Well, I mean, yeah, Cody, I mean, he's talking about, in this quick game of, the 26-day game now, it's like, look, strategically, hour by hour, things are changing. You talk to one person, you might think, oh, cool. Then the next hour, And it is crazy when you're out there strategizing. And it seems like there is, as Alex said, no downtime to where you really have like a day or two without something going on where you can like slowly strategize. You got to be on the ball because there's always challenges. You're always going to tribal and things are just like moving like really fast. Noelle, it's stating that it's scary that, you never know who's got an idol, right? So, and multiple people have idols right now. Do you foresee someone going home this season with an idol in their pocket, whether it be Carla or Jesse? You think it's going to happen?
I think it's still possible because I see these people wanting to be able to do that show at the end. Like, I got to the end, like, I had massive stones because there's these times where I was getting votes and I knew I was getting votes, but I trusted my gut. I trusted the plans that I made and I stuck to it. And here's my reward I get to bring home with me, and pulls out the idol. And
Right.
if you've been hiding it from majority of people so far and they don't know, then it's like, cool. It's a very cool moment. Like, obviously Jesse is smart and like put 2 and 2 together. He's like, we heard that she was looking for these stones. Like, she probably has it, even if she's not telling me. She probably has it, but I still can see someone going because that's just the way modern Survivor is.
Yeah, it is. So, what are some of your guys' takeaways from Tribal?
I love hearing that everyone wants to have a silencer. I don't know. I always just like tune out a little bit during Tribal. I just prepare to make my notes for the vote because I'm like, for me at this point in my life, like, I understand what the game of Tribal is, and once you start making the same or different analogies, all talking about the same thing, I'm like, okay, I will perk back up when something juicy happens.
Yeah, so Noelle's gone, and Jesse kind of whispers to her, like, he stands up, gives her a hug, and he admits, like, sorry, I had to do it. And she's like, oh, it's okay, I got you, or whatever. I think she said something like that.
She said, I'm good, I think.
Okay, I'm good. Yeah. So do you think that that's a direct indication that Noelle's now on the jury, that she would give Jesse her vote even though he backstabbed her? Like, I'm
not sure. Not sure, to be honest, because like, I think in the moment she's not going to be thrilled, obviously. Like, she's an athlete. Like, you just lost. I was an athlete growing up as well. It's like, when you lose, you take it hard. And I feel like she's someone who takes it hard. She might be a little butthurt over it. I feel overall that she would want to pick someone that she feels best represented the season, best played the game. Like, I get that vibe from her, but who knows? She could just be a better person, and that's okay. That's your vote.
I also think it comes down to why, part of the reason Jesse's playing such a good game is because he does have those connections with everyone where, it was Carla and Noelle kind of going after each other. And I think it's almost harder. Yes, there's examples where you played so well, I'm still going to reward you because of how well you played. But if you don't have that personal connection, I think it makes it harder to cast your vote, where she could be more bitter at someone like Carla because, well, we didn't have a connection. You were coming for me, than Jesse, where, you took me out, but at least, we still got to know each other. We were friends, and we can be friends outside the game.
So moving forward, how do you think like next week's episode is going to play out, where we see, Gobbler telling Carla, we got to break up the power couple? Do you think that that's priority numero uno, where we're going to see Jesse and Cody kind of on the chopping block, and maybe an idol gets played, or maybe played for one of the other, maybe Jesse plays an idol for Cody or something? You think that something's going to go down like that?
I think it's our best opportunity for it, because like normally, like these next time on Survivors, if you're actively being talked about as like the plan, then that's not what's ultimately what's going to transpire. More times than not. But I guess like they did it in a way where like he kept it vague with, I know I have a plan that will get like us to the final 3, him talking to Owen. So we'll see what that plan is. You would have to use context clues to go, well, obviously he's indicating we need to get out Jesse or Cody. Probably both. But I would want to say like he'd probably want to be looking at Jesse first. But maybe that's like, oh, they're focused on Jesse. Jesse wins immunity and Cody goes.
Yeah.
Who knows?
Do we know for sure that we're not getting do or die again this season? Because that is that perfect time where I think it happened at Final 7.
Don't you think they would have like made it? Because I'm pretty sure in 42, like they made it like known in the preview that like
I hope it doesn't come back. Like
I forget if they said do or die was something that was not coming back or not. Because if it is coming back, then it's next episode.
Wow, yeah, I forgot about that.
Final 7.
Well, we're gonna see how it plays out. I was entertained this episode. Hopefully, Jonny and friends had a blast in Jersey. Alex and Dan, thank you. Dan, where can people go to look for the tickets for next week's event? If you want to just give the little shout out for that.
Yeah, next week. So again, Charlotte, North Carolina at Lenny Boy Brewing. It's going to be at SurvivorTix.com, Survivor TIX. You can go in there and you can get your general admission, which will get you in right before the show. Or if you really want to make the most of it, go VIP. You get the buff. You get more of the meet and greet time, more time with Jonny, Sandra, and the other surprise guests that'll be there. So SurvivorTix.com. Get your tickets now, and hopefully we'll see you there.
Yeah,
and if you want to support the podcast, obviously, if you're watching the video, press the like, press the subscribe button. If you listen to us, give us a 5-star review. And also, if you want to support us, the best way possible is to become a patron at realitypatron.com. That's realitypatron.com. That's where you'll get exclusive content. You'll get access to the secret Facebook group with all the other reality patrons of Reality After Show. You also get content like Matt and Jonny talking about Survivor Australia. They're currently on the back end of Survivor All-Stars for that. And you'll have myself, Jonny, and Dan talking about the Challenge Australia. That's 4 episodes in. Been great episodes. Feels like vintage Challenge of the early 2000s, which is great. As well as the best podcast of the week, and that is the Q&A, which typically has Matt on it. Not this week.
I know. Stupid COVID.
But it's the best podcast of the week where you can ask anything and everything, and I mean anything and everything. And if you don't ask it, Jonny will have a story about it. So become a patron today. Get it for 30 days. If you don't like it, he'll give you your money back. We do not hold anyone hostage here.
Yeah, and John, you get like autographed pictures and stuff every month too of different survivors. So it's actually really cool and really cool community. So thank you, everybody. We're winding down. I mean, when is the finale, you guys? Is it in December?
It would be like 3 weeks from now.
3 weeks from
December
now.
14th.
Yeah, because it'll have Final 7, Final 6, and usually they do Final 5 on for finale night.
Well, there we go. It's crazy to me how fast this stuff is going. So until next week, love you all. Happy Thanksgiving, and we'll see you soon.
And for more bonus content, go to realitypatron.com. That's right, become a patron now. Get additional coverage of all your favorite shows, the weekly Q&A, and you become a member of the secret, exclusive Facebook group. That's realitypatron.com.